Hello, I'm Ryan F9 and this is the best beginner motorcycle gear of 2024. I heard Gen Z was into gold. After a decade's absence, we welcome the Icon domain back to the middle of their lineup. See, Icon has cheap lids like the Airform and Airflight, which are plastic and heavier than Joe Biden's eyelids. Then there's the fiberglass and carbon jobs no one can afford. Nor should they. The variant is 1640 grams, the airframe is 1540, but this domain is 1510, meaning Icon's mid-range helmet is their lightest and nicest. Oops. Now see, what happened is Icon's latest fiberglass reinforced plastic is nicer than yesterday's carbon, making their latest redesign at the moment an awkwardly good deal. Especially for beginners who don't yet have the Juggernaut's traps.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Shape-wise, the domain is simple. Pimply chin vents split across a ridge that carries over the dorsal. That's it. For Icon, this is understated, like Guy Fieri speaking in haiku. I suspect the simple roundness has much to do with getting past ECE 2206. For the unfamiliar, ECE 2206 is the safest certification since it tests rotational impacts. Impacts that are more easily shrugged off by a round helmet. Any protrusion is a torque wrench on your neck, which is why Icon ships the spoiler as a stick-on, don't tell ECE add-on. I wouldn't. This exhaust is already sufficiently low pressure that I cannot fog this helmet. It's borderline chilly, and perfect for those who aren't yet habituated to a full-face bubble. Speaking of, the earplug pockets are a passive-aggressive reminder to new riders. All helmets are loud, especially this one, so protect your hearing while there's still something to protect. Take it from a former Invincible who is now going deaf. The only thing I hate about the domain is that it comes ready to accept a proprietary communicator. Helm Link is just a deconstructed Senna 50S with worse speakers, and by designing a dock to put it in, Icon has created this hard plastic shelf that shears your ears. Oh! Manufacturers love these comm partnerships because they can upsell you on a device, which in turn locks you into subsequent Icon helmets. But we hate this shit because it engineers filler space into your lid for a battery that you probably won't buy. Makes a stealth stash spot for my oregano, though. In the end, even Icon seemed displeased with the collab because they shoved the controller port onto the back of your head, leaving your traditional spot free to install the Cardo that you'll much prefer. The domain starts at 400, but it's Icon, so graphics go up from there, including Mercury Poison Silver, Capitol Storming Camo, Wendy's 18th birthday, and the usual self-portrait of their graphic designer, Satan. I chose Goldmember's helmet's helmet, and dick jokes aside, I love that this comes in many colorways. The trifecta of helmet safety is first to pick something bright, second to pick something that fits, the domain ships with 2 cheek pad thicknesses as every lid should, but almost none do, and third, once your lid looks bright and fits right, make it ECE 2206. Now if you only wear one piece of protection, take this, because you might die. If you only wear 2 pieces of protection, make it the helmet and the airbag. I'm sorry to recommend something so new that the cheap ones cost $800, but an airbag's crush protection for your chest, back, and neck is on a new level, about 50 times better than the pads you'd get in a traditional moto jacket.
I have my vest on. Save me.
I won't beat the Helite H move to death because we just released an entire video on airbags. It's a functional backpack, which is the subtlest place to hide an airbag, and it triggers with a 2-foot-long, 50-pound breakaway noose. Such a wee thing never hurt anybody, except Jeffrey Epstein. Now that we've saved our lives with a helmet and airbag, we can work at preserving our mobility. The most common motorcycle crash is a slow one because slow motorcycles naturally want to fall over. The veteran rider won't fight the fall, but rather encourage the bike to fall onto a readily planted foot. New riders, on the other hand, shit! 66% of the time a motorcycle hurts you, it'll be because you dropped it on your own foot. And since we're turning the camera on ourselves, I can tell you that Fortnite buys everything we review, the good and the bad. Staying unbiased, motorcycle brands and motorcycle gear brands means selling channel sponsorships for other things like Insta360. Making a video every week, we appreciate the speedy setup of Ace Pro's magnetic mount and flip screen. Even when I can't see the camera, I can check my framing with the remote. Or just wave a hand to start and stop recording on the fly. And this saves Aneesh gigabytes of useless footage.
That same remote can overlay GPS data, so I can review my impressions of a new bike alongside its speed or elevation or slope.
And that audio was linked from my Cardo communicator, so there's no need to carry another mic. These are uncommonly connected cameras, highly sought after. The 10% link below is a rare deal, but please only click it if you have the money to spare. Meaning you can already afford full-height boots. I consider it a fundamental for beginners to have a hard shin plate, solid toe, solid heel, and wide area of cover. But you can get all that with some clever extras. This is a tree gum sole to help you stick that foot and save a topple. And sneaker-level malleability lets you really feel the brake and shift levers while you're still learning extrasensory foot control. Old hands will notice that I'm just describing a trials boot made for the sport of grip and feel. And I've chosen the Garnet Balance Pro Tech because it occupies a value niche in the trials world. See, the Balance Classic is fake leather glued to its sole, it's bound to crack and separate when you hold it next to a hot engine case all day. And the Balance Oiled is nice Italian stitched leather, but that costs $520. But the Balance Pro Tech gets the same quality construction and is over $100 cheaper just because it lacks the waterproof membrane. Thing is, you can oil this yourself. You'll still stay plenty dry with a boot interior that actually breathes, and you'll save money. Much like our helmet, the Garnet Balance Pro Tech is a mid-level product that is the best of the range. Trials boots are an equally walkable yet safer alternative to cruiser, tour, scooter, and general street shoes. Just know that you don't get the limited torsional or lateral mobility of true motocross boots, so anyone wanting to learn off-roading should stick to MX Kit. After feet, the next most common 47% of all crashes injury is to the hands. You can make those Carhartt pants and jacket work, but not all work gloves are safe for motorcycling, and not all motorcycle gloves are safe. You want to see at least CE1KP designation, meaning a metacarpal shield, a palm that will slide for 3 seconds, and a 25 Newton wrist closure so you don't lose the glove entirely. 5 refuses to make anything other than motorcycle gloves. So they're usually a safe bet. That also means the entire company is devoted to finding little glovely things. Like pre-curving. Put these 5 sparks on and your hands will want to curl. Years from now, your clutch and throttle muscles will naturally claw up. You'll go through life and love wanting to grab everything like a handlebar. But in the beginner months, a pre-curved glove is a good way to cheat hand fatigue. There's also a slip liner for getting the glove on wet, and the tag disappears into it. So you won't cut it out and then curse yourself 12 months later when you finally try to do laundry. The usual index finger is touch capable, but so is the thumb. So you can pull zoom on your maps and stuff. But my personal favorite is the hard palm slider, which so many companies neglect. It's the difference between your wrist hitting and sliding versus biting and braking. The Spark is Five's widest appeal product. I don't want to call it a loss leader because at $80 they're still cutting their pound of flesh, but the Spark does have uncommon features per dollar because Five sees it as a gateway to the brand. Believe it or not, other Five gloves cost up to $700. So, the Icon Domain is their best helmet despite being middle priced. The Helite H-Move should make you look for a motorcycle $800 cheaper because airbags are honestly worth it. Then this is how I would design the perfect beginner boot before realizing that I've just made a trials boot and the Garnet Balance Pro Tech already exists. Then the 5 Spark feels worryingly comfy, but the CE1KP designation doesn't lie. Thank you for watching. And thanks to Insta360 for sponsoring this video. Clicking the link below will save you 10% on the Ace Pro camera we use and love.